Hi, it's Angela, Executive Director here at Saint Vincent's, and I am bringing you a video update to provide some detail on the changes that were announced yesterday by Dr. Strang and the Premier. It's exciting to know that we are able to lift some of the restrictions that were in place, and a little bit overwhelming that we need to do so by Monday. We scrambled today to look at what was our biggest challenges, and those include a lack of staff who have booked time off weeks ago for Christmas, and the fact that additional people in the home makes things really tight. We have very little space, and there is a very clear requirement for visitors, all visitors, to maintain a physical distance of those around them. With our very many double rooms, small hallways, and lack of common space, the ability to allow people to come in groups and visit with a resident is not easy. But we do think that we can accommodate many of you over the next 2 weeks. I'll discuss caregivers first. A designated caregiver is a specific visitor that's a partner in care who provides essential support for a resident's physical, mental, and emotional well-being. A designated caregiver is a family member or support person who has a pattern of involvement prior to COVID or prior to entering Saint Vincent's. This type of caregiver may provide assistance with mobility, feeding, personal care, communication, supporting mental health or emotional well-being, and assisting with social activities and off-site medical visits. Designated caregivers must attend a short training session prior to their first visit. So if you're not sure if you're a designated caregiver, please let us know and we'll help with that decision. And if you plan on coming in but have not been here yet, you must be trained prior. And we only have availability to do so until next Wednesday. Beginning on Monday, December 21st, each resident can now have 2 caregivers once again. The caregivers are designated by the resident or the substitute decision maker, and only 1 caregiver can visit at a time. But we do want to loosen these restrictions that we have in place a little bit. So for temporarily, you no longer have to book your visit in advance. You can choose the day, time, and length of your visit and come and go as you choose. We do ask that you end visits by 7 p.m. if possible, and that caregivers cannot visit together. So you need to work with the other caregiver to ensure that you're not both here wanting to visit at the same time. We're going to evaluate this change later in the week, and hopefully we'll be able to continue. The biggest thing is whether or not our caregivers are able to follow the public health guidelines on wearing a mask and maintaining distance. Indoor visits will resume in the Windsor Room. Appointments are required for these visits. They'll be available Monday to Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. and we will allow 2 visitors at a time. Designated caregivers are asked to remain in the room or to leave the facility while the resident is visiting in the Windsor Room. Depending on the volume, we may be able to book more than 1 appointment for a resident, but at this point we need to see how many people are interested in getting in before we can book multiple appointments. We would like to remind visitors, both the current designated caregivers, those who will be rejoining us, and visitors that are coming for the Windsor Room, that masks are required for the entirety of the visit. They cannot be removed for any reason, and that means that visitors can't bring coffee or snacks or a meal in to share with the resident. You can drop items off for Christmas. We are asking that we have everything by end of day tomorrow. You'll be screened when you enter the building, and we ask that you do a pre-screening before you arrive. And even if you have a mild symptom, we do ask that you consider rescheduling your appointment. Designated caregiver visits with your loved ones must only take place in the resident room. It's our nature to want to chat with people we haven't seen in a while. And during this time of year, it's nice to connect with old friends, to chat with a resident that you haven't seen in a while, but it is very important that caregivers remain in the room. We do not have the space for people to spend time in the hallways or in a dining room or on the first floor. Physical contact must be minimal. You may give a short hug or a handshake, but otherwise you need to maintain that distance. We are also not allowing residents to leave the property. So they're not allowed to go home over Christmas. I know that is not as liberal as what Dr. Strang and the Premier announced yesterday. And we hope that you understand the necessity of these decisions. Everyone is making adjustments this year on how we gather and celebrate. At home, we each have a limit of 10 people in our homes, which may mean that you're breaking up Christmas dinner or spending Christmas Eve apart. But despite the limitations, we do still get to gather, albeit in small groups. And as we all know, we continue to be COVID-free at Saint Vincent's. You have been so patient and continue to do so as we search for the best way forward for the residents at Saint Vincent's. From my family to yours, I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I look forward to seeing you in 2021. Thank you.